Hey, this is Where in the World's Reverend Rod, and I'm here with Tater, Bingo, and Lacey. But that's not who the star of the shows are going to be about. We're going to talk a little bit about treasure hunting today, and with some real treasure hunters. That they do metal detecting and things like that. I think that you'll really enjoy this, and I think you'll learn a lot. And right now, here are the two people that are the treasure hunters that we're going to interview. Now, I'm sure you know them with their mask on. This is Jeremy and Amy Parnell. You may know her by Amy Carlton, but they're here, and they're actually the, well, those three dogs keep them, the parents of these dogs. But I see something here. Guys, tell me what this is all about.
This is a metal detector, and it detects metal. In the ground, the people have dropped over the years, and I just go out to different places and you gotta swing over it to see if you find any treasures.
Okay, and that's really what you're trying to do, is found some treasures?
Yes.
Now, it'll pick up on any metal that you can find in the yard. So if we go around all here, any metal that anybody has left in a long time, do you know how long a time the metal will pick up?
I don't. One of the oldest things that I found was a coin from the 1700s, so at least the 1700s.
I think that's pretty good. I know a lot of our memories don't go past 7 days, much less 1700. So now, Jeremy, you all got involved in this. How did you all get involved in this?
I got in it because of her.
Oh, I see.
just go along and enjoy the outdoors.
He's more of my moral support.
I'll dig the holes and she'll find the treasure.
Okay, all right. So it's
He's
a
my muscle.
teamwork. He's your muscle.
He's my
okay?
muscle, yeah.
And you're the brains?
I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, and I'm so glad it's something that you all do together. So this is the actual detector right here.
It is, yes. I have it propped up on my shovel.
Okay, so that's your shovel. Okay.
this is-
All right. Now
Yes,
tell us
he's-
a little bit about how this operates.
Well, this one is kind of one of the more sophisticated machines out there. It can, a lot of things can interfere with it. Power lines.
Oh, it'll pick up on the power line.
Yeah, so you get a little bit of feedback, so you have to make sure to balance that out.
But you kind of know what that sounds like.
Right, yeah. So this actually has something on it called a noise cancel.
Okay.
So any interference that may be coming from power lines or anything like that.
Or the ground being too mineralized.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
minerals in the ground and things like that. If
Yeah.
you wave it beside those cars up there, will it pick up
Oh,
on that?
absolutely, yeah. You want me to show you?
Yes. Okay.
Pretty loud.
Now, that's
It's
your
metal.
car, right?
It is, yes.
Okay. Does his car make the same sound?
It's
I
got too much inside.
I
Oh,
tend
too
to
much
think so.
inside. Okay, all right. Treasures inside, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Okay. So I noticed that it does a certain kind of beat there, and it looks like a fish finder right there on the the panel right there. I
Yeah.
don't know if you want to come in and get that, see what it looks like. But it looks like a fish finder.
So this kind of tells me what it thinks it is. It has its best guess. The higher the number, the better. Your lower number is going to be like iron, like nails and bolts and things that you don't really want. The higher the number means the more conductive the metal is.
Okay.
So your
Alright.
more precious metals like
Alright,
silver,
so the higher
gold.
the number, you really want to dig. The
Right.
lower the number, you may or may not
Right, and that kind of
waste your
helps.
muscle over here.
Yeah. Well, he's got plenty of it. I don't worry about that.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Okay.
But I was going to show you, if you wanted to see what we could find
I do,
in
yes.
the yard.
uh-huh.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
you just kind of,
I hear it beeping.
so that's a pretty high beat.
Okay, a hobby,
It's high, showing me a high. This is on a scale from 1 to 40.
1 to 40. So that's a pretty high. That's over half.
Right. So
30.
I would dig that. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
he would
you will dig
dig
that.
that.
Okay.
And the idea is to try and not mess up, someone's
Okay.
yard.
Yeah, I seem being very careful there.
Right. So he just pops it up.
Oh.
Okay.
And
And it is a precious metal. It's a Chirwa.
it is. This is very precious. The Salisbury Emporium would pay a lot of money for this.
Now, can you tell how old that is?
Probably about 2 days old, if I had to
2
guess.
days old.
Yeah.
Probably perhaps one of
I wouldn't swab the DNA on it.
Okay.
It would come back to one of us.
All right, okay.
But you find a lot of this. That's
Yeah.
why I was, you find a lot of trash to find the treasure.
If you go into other fields, and you do go into other
Right,
fields.
yes, I do.
With permission.
With permission,
Right,
I
don't
like
ever
that.
go without permission.
Okay. Because whatever you find on that field.
Right. As long as you have permission to keep it, then you can keep it.
Okay, so if you find something, what do? Do you go back to the owner of the land?
You can, yeah, and kind of show them what you found, and it's nice. And offer to let them keep something that's on their land since they did let you
Yeah.
check on it. But yeah, I mean, you just keep
So you just keep doing this.
going until.
There's no sound. I picked up something there. All right, now that's a little higher pitch.
It is a little bit higher. So that,
36.
Okay, 36, so that's really close to 40.
right, so I would have him dig that.
Okay, yeah, and he's doing a great job.
Yes.
He's very, very careful about that.
Right, yeah, so you don't know exactly where the target
Uh-huh.
is, so you want to be careful.
You don't want to mess up the target. Huh?
Right, so,
I see it.
yeah.
Man,
And that would be a silver dollar from
this is nice.
1921.
1921 silver dollar, and you can find those in the ground.
Just amazingly, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe not right here.
Okay,
But yes, you can find stuff like this all over. People were just walk in, dropped it out of their pocket, didn't even realize it, and it sat there until you find it again, 60, 70 years later.
so I see a lot of these at the beach, at the shore.
Right, yeah, a lot of people drop, their change there. People take off their jewelry. A lot of times people post on Facebook, I found the ring in this particular area,
Oh, I
we've
see.
lost it, let us know.
And that's what a lot of people do, is they find it this way.
Yes.
Well, this is interesting because a lot of times it's just right on the surface. But here, how far down can you detect with that particular machine?
This goes down about 12 inches. It averages about 12 inches.
So that's pretty deep, and when you
It
think
is.
about how things are buried, sometimes they're right on the surface, but 12 inches, that's pretty deep. That's pretty old stuff.
It is,
Yeah.
What
yes.
kind of stuff, other than aluminum cans and silver dollars, have you found?
Well, I have a couple things
Okay.
that I can show you.
So these are things that you've actually found. You just didn't plant these somewhere.
Right, yes.
Okay. Not that she would ever do that, but
So this was the coin from the 1700s that I found. It was actually found here in Salisbury, near Dunn's Mountain.
okay.
I almost fell over when I pulled it out of the ground.
I can imagine.
I can see a 17 in the beginning of the date, and I can't make out the last two numbers. So it's at the earliest is 1772, and at the latest is 1799. So I don't really.
see.
It's a half real from Spain.
Spanish coin.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got it in a nice wrapper there. You want to protect the treasure.
Yes, even though it's pretty scratched up from being in the ground, I don't want to cause it any more damage.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, how did you figure out where that coin came from?
So I actually, you can tell a little bit of detail on it. So I Googled pictures.
Well, especially since she knows coins anyway.
Okay.
Like, she deals with them.
Yeah.
That's what she likes to do also.
So she collects coins
I
too.
do, yeah.
Okay.
So I had a little bit of knowledge and was able to go off of that, and
Okay.
took it to a coin dealer here in Granite, and they confirmed that it was a
Okay.
half real, and it was authentic. It wasn't like a replica that was made or anything like that. So.
Excellent. Well, that's what I was going to ask you is what sort of education, what sort of training do you have to do this well?
To do it well, I mean, it helps to, read some books. There's books at the library. YouTube is a great resource. I watch a lot of big metal detectorists on YouTube, and they kind of give you pointers. But really just getting out and swinging the machine, learning the beeps, learning the numbers, learning what to dig, what not to dig, things like that.
Now, I noticed that when you found the aluminum can, there was a certain tone. When you found the coin, it was high.
Right,
So the higher it is again,
right,
the more precious it probably is.
yes.
Okay. And what else have you found?
The last thing, this is actually a grape shot from the Civil War that was found off of Longs Ferry Road.
Now that's not a real grape, it's grape shot.
It is not.
which
It is grape shot.
Something else.
Yes.
That's what they used to put in the guns.
Correct.
It tastes very
Yeah,
different.
they.
It does taste different. I see why you have him along.
He's the comic relief.
Yeah.
But yeah, this would actually more than likely go with the cannonball. That when the cannonball was shot out, it had little grape shot stuck to it that would also be fired out with the cannonball.
I see.
Yeah.
So
So
you have
this.
to know a little bit about history too.
Yeah, it helps. You also learn a lot about history when you're researching what you have. I'm part of groups on Facebook, and I'll post a picture of, like, hey guys, what is this? What do you think this is? And they'll, tell me what they think it is, and of course I'll go look it up, and that's
Okay.
how I've learned a lot.
Now, to the untrained eye, that looks like that's something I would just throw away because it looks like maybe an acorn or some sort of seed or something like that.
Right.
You must have known, I guess, with the combination of your machine and your knowledge, that this was not just an ordinary walnut or acorn or something like that. That this was metal. And then you researched it a little bit and found out it was grape shot. Grape shot was used in the Civil War. Okay, so that's around 1860, 1865. is
Right.
the
Yeah.
Civil War
Right about
was.
there. Yeah.
So you
and-
got a coin for 1700 and one for 18. Right? Yes, you were going to say.
Yeah, the land that it was actually found on was known to have Civil War history on it,
Okay.
activity, soldiers in and out. So it was more than likely dropped, not fired.
Okay.
But that's one way that I may not find a Civil War bullet right here in our front yard, but knowing the land that you're looking and researching the history of the land helps a lot.
Yeah. Now I know we as kids used to find arrowheads. This won't pick up arrowheads.
Unfortunately, no. But if you keep your eyes open while you are detecting, you can stumble upon some.
You may find some while you're looking for something else.
Mm-hmm.
What an amazing, and how long have you all been doing this?
About 2 years now, I think.
2 years. You found some precious things
Oh yeah.
in a couple of years. I'm amazed, I watch, my favorite movies are pirate movies. I love pirate movies. And they're always burying treasure. And this is what you all do, is look for buried treasure. I was thinking there's a verse, actually two verses in the Bible that talk about finding buried treasure. One of them is the kingdom of heaven is like a man who searches. Who searches for buried treasure. And when they find something precious, like this coin or like this grape shot, well, back in that time, they had the landowners, and they sold everything they had, purchased that land, and then had that coin. The other one sounds a little bit like that, but the story in the other one is not so much that the kingdom of heaven is the treasure, but the kingdom of heaven is like a man searching for the treasure. And that means that we are the treasures that the kingdom is searching for. That you too are the treasures that the kingdom is searching for. So that's interesting. The treasures are searching for the treasures here. What a marvelous thing to do. Now, how often do you go out and look for and where do you go?
Maybe every couple weeks we get out. More
It
so
used
in
to
the
be
summer.
more often.
More so in the summer than the winter because
Yeah.
it's cold and I don't like the cold.
Okay, I noticed I had to take my jacket off to come out
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a little chilly, but summer's the best time. And you go apparently around here mostly?
Yeah,
Anywhere you
around.
can find.
Mhm.
Like it's a fun thing to do and then to go to. Like my parents know some people we drove an hour to go to.
Oh, I see. So you go a lot of different places.
The
Your
more-
goal is always the same.
Yeah, the more people find out, the more they say, well, hey, I've got this house that was built in the early 1800s. And you ask them, okay, can I, detect it?
So people come to you and know that you do this kind of thing.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Or it comes up in conversation and then they just tell me that they've got houses that are old.
So people can help you all find the treasure.
Yeah.
Boy, that could be a sermon too. Another time that other people can help us find the treasures, and that may be part of our responsibility once we find the treasure, or when we think we found the treasure, to share that with somebody else. Well, there's at least 3 sermons that we've heard today.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I really appreciate you all telling us about this, and I bet there's some kid or even some adult who would be interested in that. And there may be some people in our church who see this, because up to 800 people see this. I shouldn't have told you that. Yes, I know. Catcher. And you might find a large community, people who have fields that let you all look in. So hopefully there's a benefit for you all. I know that it was a benefit for us. We appreciate you sharing this. Now, one thing that I ask everybody to do this, you all do, you've been around the church, you've been very active in church, Baptist men, various things that you've been involved with as you grew up in First Baptist. What can we pray for you all about? Is there anything that we can pray for you all about? Aside from your roles as, what you do, Jeremy works at, he's a mechanic.
City, yeah.
Okay, city. And you work at a
Credit union.
credit union, not here in this city, but another
Kannapolis.
long way away.
Yeah.
So if there was a job that opened up a little bit closer, you'd jump on that, wouldn't you?
Possibly.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, we want you to have closer to your house or something like that. So, anything in your life that we can pray about?
Nothing in particular, I'd say.
Protection of our families.
Continued
Protection.
good
Yeah.
health and.
That we won't have to wear masks for much longer.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Because I
Yes.
imagine in your jobs you have to wear these masks, and you've almost gotten used to them now.
I have, yeah. Keeps me a little warmer, but, so I'm okay with that.
I am okay with that too. I'm okay with that too. Well, thank you all again for sharing your hobby, sharing your children with us. They have been very
Sleeping.
quiet, very good out there. I thank you for that. I've actually seen pictures of that one on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I think the grandfather may have been sharing
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I want to thank Jeremy and Amy for letting us come by here. I want to thank you for watching it. And I want to invite you next week on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock for 20 minutes. Where in the World is Reverend Rod? You get to meet neat people like this who do great things. We'll see you next week.